If you've ever looked at a pile of stitches and thought, I just want to use them all, then friend, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Hello crochet friends, I'm Mo, your crochet companion, and welcome to the big finale of Layer and Play. Today we're turning all the stitchy chaos from this series into one big, bold, unapologetically playful sampler banner. Think of it like a scrapbook of everything we've learned so far, except it's soft, textured, and possibly trying to ruffle at you. Now, this isn't a pattern in the traditional sense. This is a sampler, a let's try and see what happens project. It's here to show you how layering stitches, colors, and textures can help you create something totally your own. So what are we doing today? In this episode, I'm going to walk you through how I combined all 5 episodes of this series into one project, including puff stitches, bobbles, and popcorns for ultimate texture, which was episode 1, bold and skinny stripes with juicy color changes, that's episode 2, mesh and open work to breathe and balance, episode 3, strategic shaping to add movement, that's in episode 4. Raised and stacked techniques like front, back post stitches, overlay stitches, and surface embroidery. And that's what we learned in episode 5. And just in case you're wondering if there's a plan, kind of. But mostly this is a guide to show you what's possible when you mix and match your favorite stitches and trust your creative instincts. Now, stick around because at the end I'm going to show you how I finished off my sampler, including a cheeky little border trick that brings it all together with a little wink. Oh, and before we get into the nitty-gritty, just a quick heads up, I actually started this piece with a treble crochet foundation row. If you haven't learned foundation stitches yet, I highly recommend watching my foundation row masterclass. I'll link it below in the description. Now, let me walk you row by row through the sampler banner and how I layered each technique. So we're going to start at the very bottom, which is my foundation row. So I actually used the treble crochet foundation row to start my project. And then the next row up, row 2, I used the puff stitch. So you'll find that in episode 1. Did I say that's what it was? Episode 1? Yes, it was episode 1. Okay, moving up in row 3, we actually did just a regular double crochet. Oh, excuse me. I skipped a row. We actually did a row of mesh stitch. So when I did the mesh, oh, let me pronounce it correctly, mesh stitch. So I started at this end, so it would have been going back this way. So, no, I didn't. Sure didn't. So I did a chain of, I believe it was a chain of 3, and then I did a double crochet in that first space right there. And then I did a chain of 1, double crochet in the space, not in the stitch, but in the space. I actually, when I'm doing mesh, I actually prefer to do the mesh stitch in the space versus in the stitch. That's just me, but that is a little bit different for every single person. You don't have to do it the way I did it. I'm just going through how I did my little banner. And then row 4, we did a double crochet. Row 5, we did a treble crochet. And then you'll notice this is where it gets fun. And I'm going to flip it over here so you can see. So this row, I was actually going back this way, and I combined 2 of the stitches together. So I did the mesh stitch, and I also did the front post stitch. So how I did that is I did my first, obviously my first chain there, and then in that second stitch I did my front post, did my chain of 2, did a front post, chain of 2, or was it 1? It might have been a chain of 1. And then I did a front post, and I just did that. So I combined the front post with the mesh stitch, and I did that because I wanted the ridge. I wanted the ridge in between here so that I could do the overlay, but we'll get back to that a whole nother situation. So let me move my little ruffle out of the way. In this stitch we did a bobble. This was a bobble. It's a small bobble because I didn't want it to outshine everything else. So it was a small bobble. So I only did 3 double crochets and then bobbled them together. So that was that. And then from there I did another mesh stitch, front post. Or did I do it? Let's see. This was a front, so I did front, then I was going back this way. Yep, and then I did another front post. So this was another front post mesh stitch, and then I changed my color at this point. This was part of the rows, you know, where you're doing things differently, you're changing colors, you're doing different sizes and different stitches. So after that I came back this way with a single crochet. I went this way with a double treble crochet. Then this is where the fun gets. So this was episode 4. I believe it was episode 4. Yeah, it's episode 4, and this is the magic shaping. This is so much fun. I love doing magic shaping. So how I did my shaping, and I accentuated it by doing the embroidery. So that's the surface embroidery. So we did the surface embroidery. So I wanted to accentuate what I did with the shaping row. So as you can see, I kind of have what I call mountains, right? I call them mountains, but you can also call them wave. It's also a form of a chevron as well. So how I did this is that I just did a single crochet, half double crochet, double treble, and then treble, double, half, single crochet, and then what I did with the next row up is that I just reversed the order. So right here is a good example. So I was doing a single crochet and then half double, double, treble, and then I did double trebles in those spots where the single crochets were at, so that I could reverse it and make it look more like a wave or a chevron in some cases. But I like having this ability to change the size and shape. So, and I'm actually going to come back to this. Don't think that I didn't forget, okay? I'm just going to go over everything first. So from there, I did another row of double crochets. So I did a row of double crochets, and then my favorite, which is the popcorn stitch. I don't know why, I just love the popcorn stitch. Then I did a row of treble crochets, and if you see, I actually did a row of, actually, you know, you can't see. Well, anyway, so I combined the shaping technique along with the front post or back post crochet. So in this right here, I actually combined those two rows, two techniques into one. So while I was shaping it, I was also doing the front or the back post. I can't remember for sure for which one on that one. And then you see I just did one little mountain, and then I reversed the order the other way. Then I changed my color and came back to a single crochet, then my mesh, and then I did, you know, I just kind of basically mirrored what I did down here. So I did my mesh, and then I did another row of popcorns, and then I finished it off with a treble crochet. So I kind of wanted to have some flavor, but I wanted it to be kind of sort of, you know, asymmetrical or symmetrical, whichever way you want to look at it, kind of sort of symmetrical. So now let's come back to the overlays and the embroidery. So what I did was that I did the overlays on those, the ridges that the front post, back post make. I went ahead and did the overlay on that particular ridge. So this ridge and this ridge, I did the overlay with just a simple crab stitch or a reverse single crochet. Now, I tried to do these the same, but I did this one first, and I started it off with, I believe I just did 2 single crochets, or I did a single crochet and a half double crochet all the way across. You know, I was trying to give it that wave, but with that wave, it just didn't, it kind of fell flat because I just used one note, and I wanted to do that just to kind of show you the difference in that. It also kind of made it a little awkward and lopsided there, whereas this one, what I did was I rotated it. So I did a single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, then back to the single, half double, and that's why this one created kind of like a little bit of a ruffle, which I just absolutely love. So if I had done it in reverse, I would have done this on this, but I already did it, so you know, it is what it is. Now let's go back to the embroidery. I really love this technique because it just makes it so that you can highlight certain items, and in this case I wanted to highlight my different shaped rows. And so I just, at first, you know, I just did like this one, I just did the upper part to well, yeah, because this pretty much showed off the bottom part, so I didn't really need to do 2 lines of embroidery, but I wanted to show off that mountain or the wave. And then this one, because it was in the middle of the lighter color, I wanted to make sure that I showed off that bright with that bright color. Now, if I did this differently, what I would probably have done is used a different color for the overlay. That's what I would have done. With the overlay, as well as a different color for the embroidery. I think that would have really made it stand out even more. And then because this is your project, you can make this whatever color, whatever stitch you want. This is just me going over what I did on mine based on all 5 of those first 5 videos of the layer in play. I know a lot of you are like, whew, that sure does sound like a lot, because it is a lot. But it came together one row at a time, and you can totally do this too. At this point, I'm going to ask, are you still with me? That is awesome. And don't forget, this is your project. If you love a stitch, use more of it. If something felt awkward, skip it next time. You make the rules here. Coming up, I'm going to show you what I do with the edging. Right, I have made it back so you can kind of see the whole thing as a whole. Now, when I have a piece like this where we want the uniqueness of the stitches to stand out rather than having a bold edging, I keep it simple for the edging. So I started at this corner over here, and I basically did 3 single crochets in the corner, and then I went around, and I'll show you how to do it on the other side. So I went around and just evenly put a single crochet in the edge pieces here. So I've already put 3 single crochets in this corner, and I'm just going to go ahead and crochet along the edge here. I'm just going to go anywhere in there just wanted to kind of crochet evenly across. So for the longer stitches, I usually add an extra stitch in there. So this one I'm just going to put one. This one, because it's a longer stitch, I'm putting two. Let me go ahead and zoom in here. And this one we're just going to do two as well. That one, I think I'm going to do that one with 2 or 3. So if you notice that I put the, that was something that I just learned to do myself. So I used the front post stitch on the end piece, and I didn't put it in the actual, put it in the space rather than in the stitch. So I would say on the ends you probably should put the front post on in the actual stitch, or the stitch in the stitch. You know what I mean. I'm not trying to confuse you, I really am not. If you've been following along with me, you probably have picked up on some of my Mo-isms. Random things that I say because I can't remember what I'm saying. 2 and 3. I'm just going to put 2 in that one. Just put 2 in that one. And I'm going to put 1 right there. Yeah, let's put a second one in there as well. It's not an exact science, just like this entire project. We are just flying by the seat of our pants and creating greatness because that's what the yarn tells us to do. And speaking of greatness, so I've been actually working on a fun story. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. It's actually called The Chicken Coop, and it is a story with crochet. And I came up with the story because, well, I don't want to give you any too many spoilers because it might be something that I add to our channel. But yeah, that's what the story is called. We'll just give you a slight hint. It's got a chicken coop, and it has a talking chicken named Stanley. And although Stanley is a grumpy chicken, he's funny and sassy. Love it, right? All right, so I did 3 single crochets in that corner, and we're just going to do a single crochet in each of these stitches across. That's the nice thing about those foundation rows, is that when you do that, they have a nice, perfect spot for you to put your stitch in when you go the other direction. I mean, it's a perfect spot. It looks like, you know, you started your row. And that's sometimes I get myself confused when I start a row or start a project with a foundation row. I get myself all confused. Which way is up? Which way is down? Did I start at this end? Did I start at that end? It can be kind of confusing sometimes. All right, and so we're almost to the end here, and I'm going to put 2 stitches in the last corner because I remembered that I only put 1 in that corner and not actually 3. So there's 1 and 2, and we're going to do a slip stitch in that first stitch. Now, to keep it simple, I'm actually, because I don't want my border to outshine my stitches that I have put in here, so I'm actually just going to do a simple reverse single crochet in every stitch. It is the simplest but most effective way to do a border to make your piece look like it's complete and finished without overpowering or outdoing your work. Now, when I do a fancy border, it's usually because, well, it goes along with the aesthetic that I'm doing, and two, if it's a very simple project, you know, if it's just a straight back and forth, one stitch, one note kind of thing, you want to pep that up and make it shine a little bit more interesting, and so then that's when I create a fancy border. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going with a simple border that is a crab stitch or a reverse single crochet. Now, you can put an extra single crochet, reverse single crochet in that corner, but I'm actually not going to. I'm just going to keep it simple and just keep putting one reverse single crochet in each stitch across. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish this the rest off camera, and I'll show you my final results. Okay, we are back. So as you can see, I pretty much got the border done. I just really do believe, I mean, I could have used the principles in the layer and play and created such an enormously crazy border. You know, I thought about doing a ruffle, but I just wanted the focus to be, the focal point to be what is here, all my different variety of stitches and colors. I wanted that to be the focal point and what your eye automatically goes to. So when that is the case, you just want to keep it simple. Just do a single crochet and then a reverse single crochet in that. We do the single crochet first just to kind of even it out and give yourself a spot to put the reverse single crochet. Then you finish it out by doing the reverse single crochet, keeping it simple, but still making it look refined and finished. So this whole series has been about playing, experimenting, and building your confidence. It's not about perfection, it's about exploring your own voice as a crocheter. And now you have the tools to do just that. You made it through 6 whole episodes of layer loving, stitch stacking, color hopping, yarny fun. Go ahead and give yourself a shoulder shimmy. I can't even say it because I'm over here doing a shoulder shimmy. So give yourself a shoulder shimmy. You earned it. If you enjoyed this series, let me know in the comments what you'd love to see next. Do you want more sampler ideas, more technique stacking? Let's dream it up together. And as always, like if this inspired you to layer a little wild, subscribe to keep the yarn party going. Don't want to miss out on the yarn party. Maybe one day we will really have a party. That would be so much fun. Anyway, turn on those notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Until next time, keep it quirky, keep it cozy, and happy crocheting.